I thank the gentleman from Connecticut. I appreciate the opportunity to speak here with you. And I just want to say I've been in Congress now 20 years and have known Mr. Larson for that long. And he has been an absolute bulldog on this issue. I think, John, you understand better than most the impact of this program, and to just consistently year in and year out get this on the radar screen. And now we're going to have a markup next week on this and really proposing this, I think, at a time of great need. The pandemic that we all have experienced over the last few years, the economic collapse global economic collapse that we saw in the last couple of years, I think pulled the veil back on a lot of problems that we've had in this country. And we could go through the entire list, but I think one of them that is most significant is how many people in this country, how many seniors in this country struggle to make ends meet. In the wealthiest country on God's green earth, the most significant, most dynamic economy, we have, a handful of people building their own space stations, going into space, and God bless, that's only, can only happen in America. But the reality is the vast majority of people in this country are still struggling. And what we're talking about here is a group of people who did everything right, busted their rear ends their whole life. Single moms taking care of a couple kids, people working in factories, people waitressing, nurses, public servants, people who are out there every single day and have done everything right. And this is what the Social Security system is all about. I remember, when my grandparents passed away, I remember going through their drawers at their house. And, you got to clean everything up, and it's really a heartbreaking experience. And I found this little black book that was my great-grandfather's. Dominic Guerra came over from Italy with $17 in his pocket, and it was his little black book. And I opened it up, and it had on the left side, it had the names of the people who belonged to this group that was called the Volsini Club. He came from a little village in Italy, Volsini, in the southern part, in the Basilicata region, and it was the Volsini Club. And on the left-hand side were all the names of the Italians from Volsini in Niles, Ohio. And at the top of the book were the months of the year. And so it would say, like Dominic Guerra and all these names, a lot of vowels in this book. And in the names, they would say January, $1, February, $1, March, nothing, April, nothing, May, nothing, June, $1. And it was the same for all the different names that were there. It was a mutual aid book. It was an insurance. It was just a group of people kind of putting their own insurance, plan together, because one day I'm up and you're down, and the next day I'm down and you're up. And that was before Social Security. That was before Medicare. People coming together collectively to help each other, which is a basic American value. And so this system was put in place because that was probably happening all across the country with different ethnic groups. And Franklin Roosevelt and others said, hey, we better do something about this and collectively come together. That's what this is about. This is an earned benefit. And I will tell you the American value that undergirds this program is the same American value that has lit this country up since its inception. It is the idea and the value of freedom, right? Freedom has been the principle here in the United States. And so we're talking about economic freedom here. We talk about it with the workforce. We talk about it with rebuilding the middle class. Why? So people could be free, economic freedom. Don't have to work 50 or 60 hours a week. You got time for the things that are important. You got a few extra bucks to take your kids to the college football game, or if you're in the self-flagellation, a Cleveland Browns game, But go fishing, go hunting, You know, maybe have a little boat, economic freedom. And so when we're talking about our seniors, we're talking about freedom, economic freedom for them to live independent lives. Seniors don't want to be a burden on their kids. They don't want to be a burden on their grandkids. And what Mr. Larson and what the Social Security 2100 Act is saying is, how do we lift everybody up? Put a few more bucks in people's pockets who have done everything right. Making sure people aren't living in poverty. Making sure they're independent, they could take care of themselves. That's what this bill does. And it asks people making over $400,000 a year to help make that happen. I think this is a significant piece of legislation. I think this program is the backbone of the working class. And I'll tell you something else. This program is the backbone of rural America, where so many jobs have been lost, it's the backbone of these factory towns that have seen so much loss. And you have issues around addiction, overdose, fentanyl, grandparents raising grandkids. Couldn't happen without Social Security. And the one significant provision in here is to say if a husband and a wife are both relying on Social Security and one dies, that they're going to get at least 75% of the total of both recipients. That's a significant step, because we hear so often of a spouse dying and then all of a sudden there isn't economic independence anymore. There isn't freedom anymore. There isn't the ability to take care of yourself. So I am here today to just say this is a phenomenal thing. I think when most Americans, Democrat, Republican, and Independent, hear about this, there's going to be and continue to be significant support for these reforms. I hope this bill gets marked up. I hope it comes to this floor for a vote. I hope the Senate agrees, and I hope we pass it and we reform it, and we're going to lift up millions of people, millions of seniors in this country, and we have John Larson to thank for that.